Okay, dudes, what's going on? Straight back again here, bringing another one. So this time we're going to be doing The Walking Dead episode 6, season 2. If you're looking for the episode itself, it is up right now on at isohunt.com. Go check it out. Just search for The Walking Dead Secrets. You'll find it on torrents. Download it. About 20 minutes later, you should be watching the episode. So, those of you looking for the review, you've come to the right place. Before we start, this will contain spoilers, so if you haven't seen the episode yet, please go watch it and then come on back and watch the, watch this review if you're interested. So this episode was, kind of following the same formula that we've had lately, which is one zombie kill per episode. And actually, there was more zombie kills this episode because we got to see, Andrea and Shane just shooting up a storm, freaking, shoot 'em up style, and then of course Glenn with the zombie kill inside the store. So zombie kill of the week definitely goes to Glenn via the ground and pound with the I don't know what kind of knife you'd call that. It was a cool knife with a hook on the end. That was cool. So not too much action or suspense in this episode. A little bit with Shane and Andrea going into the the city and that kind of stuff. Not the city, but the little town. Looking for Sophia. At this point, I mean, it's kind of getting long in the tooth. It's really hard to say if they're going to really find Sophia at this point. I kind of think at this point, if they haven't found her by now, she's done. She's done. That's all there is to it. I mean, if she made her way into that town, she's a goner. It just, to me, it doesn't seem realistic anymore that, if a kid's on their own for 4 or 5 days and in that kind of a world, that they'd be able to survive and make good enough decisions to get by. To me, it doesn't seem realistic anymore. So if they do find her in the show, I'm going to kind of be like, I don't like that. Because it's not realistic. I like the show to be realistic in the environment that it is in. Same as the comic book. That's the thing with the comic book. If you watch a lot of Robert Kirkman's interviews, he always pretty much says that, it has to be realistic in the world that they're living. So nothing would really happen that's outside of, what could realistically happen to these characters under these circumstances. And it's not realistic for a little girl in that type of world to be missing for a week or something like that and just be found all of a sudden. To me, it just doesn't seem like it. Anyway, that's my opinion on that. So I hope they really don't find Sophia, as weird as that might sound to you, because of those reasons. Carrying on from there, Shane is just getting loving all over the place. There's just no question about it. I mean, you guys have seen, he's got baby mama drama. He's got, never rub another man's rhubarb drama with good old Dale. He's got, he's just got baby mama drama. He's got all kinds of stuff going on here, and I don't really know what to say about that. I mean, I think that's a cool direction for them to take with Shane's character and all that kind of stuff. I like the fact that Dale actually confronted him about it. It was kind of like, telling him like, what the hell, because he could kind of tell what was going on, that kind of stuff. So, and that's kind of an interesting angle, because I think that in the comic book, I think it would make sense that if Shane lived longer, Andrea and Shane are kind of closer to the same age group. Dale's older, so it kind of makes sense to me that they might hook up at some point, I think it's more realistic probably than the situation with Dale and Andrea, so that's that. Cool to see that, and it'll be, the little talk that Dale had with Shane there was pretty interesting too, in my opinion. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there, and who what goes down there. You could see, it would be reasonable to see from now on that Dale just keeps it to himself and is actually afraid of Shane, because Shane's crazy. There's no question about it, but he's crazy in the kind of way where he's kind of like, his character is funny, because even after, the apocalypse and the zombie apocalypse and all that stuff's going on, he's probably very similar to how he was before that. He's one of these type of guys that they can hook up with girls and they have no problem, doing this kind of stuff. And they get a lot of sex, but they don't get love. They can never get love. They can never stay with a girl long enough to do that. Either their personality is they're too egocentric, or they're just too egotistic. They just can't do it over a long period of time. And there are people like that in the real world too. So, Shane's character to be like that is very realistic, I would say. Especially because, the type of character that he is. Then the part at the end was very cool about, Rick finding out what's going on, even though he kind of already suspected and kind of already knew just through reasoning, that he actually, verbatim hears it, because, even though Lori told Glenn that it is Rick's, I'm pretty sure at this point that they haven't actually slept together. So Rick and Lori, so it can't be, and Rick knows that pretty much. So that's got to mess Rick's head up. And Shane has just made two big enemies, inside the group, in my opinion. So we'll see how this all goes down. Maybe be something good for a season finale. Maybe we'll see something next week in the last episode before the break during the winter about what's going on there. At least I think there's another episode before the break. I guess we'll see how it goes. You can look that up on your own. I might add an annotation if I'm not lazy, which I usually am. What else is there to mention this episode? Oh, yeah, so the part where, Maggie rages out on Lori, I thought was kind of fun. It was nice to see Lori, because she's been such a bitch the whole series so far, so to see someone bitch out on her was kind of nice, So I like to see that. Glenn has some funny parts at the beginning. Quite a few funny parts with Glenn, little things with him trying to, like, nothing's up, that kind of stuff. That was good, very funny, and... so an episode that was really centered around different characters up until the end. We didn't really get to see much of Rick this episode, but some very cool developments. Not too much action in this episode. Last episode was a great episode. This episode, I would say, overall, is a very good episode. The part where Andrea and Shane go into town, that's exciting, at the garage scene and all that kind of stuff. That was exciting and cool to see. But past that, just a lot of character building in this episode, and a lot of drama and kind of tension building between the characters as a result of Shane's baby mama drama. So other than that, I got to give this episode, I'd say, a 7 out of 10. Maybe an 8 out of 10. It was a good episode. It wasn't the best episode ever. It didn't have as much suspense and excitement as we expect out of The Walking Dead, but I think that this is a good formula to go by if you want to keep the budget low. You guys know I talk about this like every freaking week, but yeah, it seems to me like they're really limiting the amount of zombies because they're trying to keep the budget down. And so this episode is a good formula to go about that. As long as you have some interesting character developments, as long as you have some interesting things happening with the characters, I like to see that. And the fact that they strayed away from the comic book, and I think that it's reasonable to say that if Shane was still alive, okay, past the first volume, like he is in the show, because if you guys don't know, in the comic book, Shane is already dead at this point, that he might hook up with Andrea versus Dale, and that Dale might get pissed about what's going on with that, because, he is kind of like an older guy, and, it must be hard for Andrea to be kind of attracted to him. So this brings up some interesting stuff and just kind of gets it away from, being the same as the comic book, because, I like to see it be totally different, and I like to see it continue to be different. Anyway, so that's it for this one. Yeah, an 8 out of 10 from Trev. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't, guys. I do Walking Dead reviews every single week, and I'm going to continue to throughout the entire season. Rain or shine, whatever goes down. Let me know what you guys think about the episode. Did you like it? Did you like the new developments? And how do you feel about this format of, instead of so much survival horror drama, you get some more drama within the group and some pressure and characters, like Dale and Shane getting mad at each other, this kind of stuff, and Rick and everything. Let me know what you guys think. Later, guys. Peace.